Hey folks, Jonathan here. Figured we would go ahead and see if we can do part 2 of the first start of the Model A, which part 2 will be the last part. So here's what we bought. Distributor cap. I bought the regular style cap with wires. Why? I don't know. I just kind of liked it. And bought a set of points, which I usually don't do, but what the heck. And I bought a condenser. And our original cap, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it. There's a big crack that runs, I can't even see it now. It's a light crack, but it actually runs from here all the way up to the other one. So they're going to be sparking together, and I didn't want to take a chance on it. And so that's why we decided to go with a new cap. And we still have to loosen up this and turn it to be able to time it. That's how you time these distributors. You can't move them to another location. So we don't have any idea where we're at on timing. We've got to get the condenser in, get the points in, cleaned up, and get some power to it and get it, you know, sparking. Plug wise, I may use 4 of my plugs for the Franklin just because I got them, and maybe throw them in it since they're new. Hopefully it'll start up pretty easy. Now the carburetor is a Schrebler Wheeler, and they don't offer much for kits for them. There is a place that does make gaskets and stuff, but we really only need the main gasket, so we're going to make a gasket for it, and we'll get it, you know, back together, and we will go ahead and see what we can do about getting this thing started up. Okay, so Model A distributors have 2 plates in them. This is the lower plate, this is the upper plate. There's a wire that hooks from the lower plate to the upper plate, and actually it's insulated from this plate here on this plate, on this piece. This goes around and your condenser hooks into it, and the wire actually comes up. Here's the wire actually comes up from it and bolts into the bottom of the points. And the problem is these wires, because every time you advance a retarded time and you're moving it, so you can see there's only like one strand holding this wire together. So I'm redoing it. We'll get it done and then get it on, and we'll start getting this distributor back together. I wanted to go through the entire distributor and make sure that everything was right in it. There's no use putting it on if it wasn't going to do what I want it to do. So we hope this thing's going to run good. That's what we're shooting for. All right. Okay, so we have got the points in. I put a new wire in, and don't forget to put the spring in between the 2 plates in here, and pretty easy to put together. So now I'm going to do some testing. I just want to make sure that when the points are open, that we don't have any continuity between the base and the points, and we can test that and make sure when they do close that we do have it. That way we'll know for sure if anything's grounding out. There's a lot of problems that can go wrong on these distributors, little places that they can short. So don't like the points alignment, but the end on the points is way bigger than the end that actually adjusts. So I think they expected that, so it'll work. Okay, about the last thing on the distributor is the power. Okay, and it's supposed to have a piece that screws in, and I'm not sure exactly what it looks like, but it would screw into here, and you can see inside where the plate is, where the power would hit. So what we'll do is I'll probably get a piece of 1/2-inch pipe thread plastic, and maybe make something to screw in here to get power to it, and then that should be it. If not, I mean, we can come up with it somewhere else, but I think it's going to be about as easy until we find out what the right part is for that. So everything else is good to go. I can see the center of this is busted a little bit. I'm assuming that's some kind of pop metal, but I think it'll do for starting, and we'll see if we can get one or get a new points plate eventually. But all right, let's move on. So here's what I made for the power. As you can see, I got a spring on it, and we're just going to slide it in this hole. Okay, we're going to check continuity on this. All right, check it and make sure we're working. We're working fine. I got the points open. I got them on the lobe, so they're open, and it's actually working. So we definitely got continuity. If I pull out on my wire, we should lose it, and there we lost it, and there it's back. So hopefully that'll work out okay. We've got power going in, and we got everything else taken care of. This will run up to the coil, and we'll go ahead and get the we're going to start getting it in time here shortly, and we still got to make a gasket for the carburetor. All right, okay, so here's what we got. I do not have it timed yet, but I do have the plugs, everything in it. You see the difference in the distributor cap. It don't have the long one with the where you don't run the plug wires. I just kind of like this style, so that's why I've got it, but I mean, you can go either way with it. Did have to find the screws and stuff for the condenser. This is an 832, and the one at the end of the condenser is a 1032, if anybody, you know, has to find them. And you know, we'll do some changing on this eventually. We're just wanting to start it temporary. Okay, so this, as some of you know, is a pin you can pull out and get it on top dead center. One way of doing it. And so we're going to go ahead and get this thing on top dead center, get it timed, and then we're going to like I said, make the carburetor piece we need, or the gasket, and we'll have to get some power to the coil and all that good stuff, but we will get it here eventually and see if we can get her to fire up. Okay, we got the carburetor back together, and choke's working, throttle's hooked up, fuel line, I think we're going to take it off up here, and we'll run a tank, get some gas into it, get some power to the coil, and get it in time, and we should be able to fire it up, and we'll see how it works out. Okay, may or may not have it in time. We'll see. I didn't pull the pin out. I just done it by hand. They make a tool for this also, and I don't have one to time it. So we're just timing it like just old school style. So once I get it, if I ever get it running, then I can dial it in how I need it. But we're going to give it a try anyway. I'm going to switch cameras back to the old camera because I don't have a mount for this one to put it on a tripod. We'll see how it works out. All right. Okay. I don't know whether this camera's worse or better, but we got you on a tripod anyway. And this is a Hero 7. Yeah, 7 silver, what do you call them? GoPro. I ought to know that. But my wife and my son bought it for me for Christmas. Find out if it works. I don't think there'll be a problem with the camera. Maybe a problem with the operator, but we're going to see if this thing here has got fire, and we'll do anything. Probably choke it. We've got gas going to it, to the carburetor. So let's just see what happens real quick. I can see it's advanced too far. Take the choke up. Alright, let's see if we can retard the timing a little bit. Alright, let's see if this makes a difference. Oh, I'm going to put a battery in. I'm going to get another battery. There we go. I think we're going to start. Okay, we'll give it another try here. It's trying to start. Alright. Just throttled up a little bit. I haven't put the choke back on yet. blowing some smoke. If it does some smoking, we'll hope it'll clear up. Okay, so we got a bad oil leak. So I didn't put the bolts back in the cover because I figured I'd probably have to take it back off, but we'll see how, fire it up one more time real quick and see how it runs. If it's smoothing out, I'm hoping that smoke will go away. We've sprayed a lot in the cylinders. The thing that worries me is when we done a compression test on the last video, if you remember, 2 of the cylinders was low on compression. When we put oil in it, or actually PB Blaster, the compression came up, so that's kind of scary. Really you don't want it to come up because that tells you the rings are an issue. So, but anyway, we'll get it, see if it'll start back up, see what happens. Okay, what we'll do now, clean up a little bit. We'll get some oil leaks taken care of, that side cover, and all that. And see if we can get a gas tank hooked up, and we'll run it a little longer, but we'll go ahead and do a first drive on it. I did notice this head, I think, has been welded across the top and around here, which is not a big deal, not an issue, as long as it's sealed up good. I did see what looked like something spraying out, but I'm not sure if it was leaking or not. We'll find out. Okay, I was going to go ahead and end the video, but I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and pull the plugs out, open the throttle up, and do a compression test on this thing, just to see what the compression is, because as you can see, we wrote it down before: 45 and 60, 0 and 45, 30 and 60, 0 and 75. Now we'll check it again since we ran it for probably a minute, no more than a minute anyway, and see what we've got. Okay, all 4 plugs are out, throttles are wide open. I get asked that all the time. Here is the gauge. Let's see what we got. Looks like about 75. We'll say 75. So we went from 60 to 75 on that one. Okay, number 2 cylinder, and we had 45. So this was one of the ones we had a valve stuck on, exhaust valve that we got unstuck. Let's see what happens. I'm going to say about the same, about 75. Right at 75, maybe just a little under, but that's all right. We'll put 75. Okay. Third cylinder, we had 60 psi. We had 30 first, and then we had 60. All right. Probably about 65. Okay, and the other one had 75. Had 0 first and then 75 on number 4, so we'll see what we do here. Looks like we're still at the 75 mark. So 75, 65, 75, and 75. That's not quite within 10%. It's a little bit low on number 3, but that's okay. So you see what we started with and where we ended up. So we'll do a drive on it next time. We'll go ahead and get a few things straightened out, and we'll put, you know, an hour's run on it or something, and then we'll check the compression again and just see what it's changed to. All right. Appreciate everybody watching. Till next time. Bye. Say bye, Scott.
Bye.